Hey guys, what's going on? So this is the MKU match that we played yesterday against Seoul. Unfortunately, I could not record the call because I messed up my recording settings, so it was just game audio and my own voice, but I'm going to opt not to include just my live voice because I'm going to be talking to nobody. So what I'm going to do instead is try and do some post-commentary over this one. So our first track, which we got straight away, was Rome, and on this track you really want to shroom up at the beginning, like on lap 1. If you can pull one shroom, that's great. If you can pull two, that's kind of jackpot. So what I do is pull one shroom. Parishi's still in first, but at this point I'm just trying to not get hit. Matthijs shrooms up, has another one, so he actually got 2 mushrooms. So what I wanted to try to do in MKU, and that's something I did like in last week's matches, is play really like aggressively with items. I feel like I failed to do that today, or yesterday, I guess, as the video is going up the day after. So really, I'm just trying to defend myself and Matthijs in top 2. I was really scared for double reds. I was also really scared that they were going to pull the shock because they are in distance back there. You know, Seoul is pretty good at playing the back, all things considered, so that was something that we were going to have to try and battle going forward with this match. Blue shell in the air, but because of our lead right now, and third actually just got hit there, our teammate getting blued here is not really going to matter. So yeah, we decided to do all black Yoshis. We did have a dark blue Yoshi. Matthijs is dark blue, and Seoul is all yellows. There were 2 peaches. One was Orochi, my teammate, and then one was Ginny, I think. I actually forget at the top of my head. You'll see it on results. But yeah, what ends up happening here is we end up getting top 2, but unfortunately, this shock at the very end makes it so that our teammates all get passed online, so we actually just get bottom 3 and 6th. Yeah, so -2 race to start. We were in a really good position there, but it just didn't work out. Next track we got is Cove. This is actually our pick for tops and bottoms collectively. And what we were thinking of is just have our tops run, and then our bottom slots pull shrooms and hopefully do the ultra cut. And I don't think it quite works out that way. I kind of forget what happens in this race, but I think it doesn't really turn out well for us here. So it's me and Ricky up at the front. There's me trying to be aggressive and just backing a Nana in their face, even though Rog was right there. I did make the call out at least. And I have no shroom, so I'm just forced to just do the normal driving. And if I recall correctly, I don't think anyone else does it? Or no, Rog does it. Yeah, I accidentally trail in his face. Super my bad. I shouldn't have been trailing in that situation. Not really a reason to. So now I just have to try and contest Squid's up here, but he just trails me out right away as I pull a red. I had an opportunity there, but I couldn't take it because of that. So at this point, I believe Seoul did pull the shock, so or maybe they do up here, so we're just trying to fight to not get completely destroyed. I try to back bomb them here, and I do get them, but then I end up failing the shortcut there. I'm not really good at that strat, so it makes sense why I failed it. Something I have to go back and practice later. Okay, yeah, so the Peach was Ginny, who is now behind me. Yeah, shock's gonna come in right now, yeah. It's pretty obvious they started using their stuff. And 4 shrooms, so yeah, unfortunately this race didn't work out, so right off the bat we're off to a pretty poor start. We're on the back foot early. Everyone just trying to desperately catch up. One of them gets to bill up, which is very fortunate for them. I pull a pretty bad pull here in triple greens in a star. Would have much preferred triple shrooms in a star. I can maybe pass a few more people, but at this point I just have to hold them just so I don't hit my teammates. Squids dies in the cut here at the end, but yeah, pretty poor race from our side. Yeah, Ricky only ends up getting second, and Sol gets literally everything else. So yeah, down by 24 early on, unfortunately, but I believe this is where things start to turn around for us. So typical DKJ beginning, you know, just trying to stay on the track, hang on to your mushrooms, don't get hit out here. One of them does spin. Their Peach player dies, and I'm just chilling here with the red. Unfortunately, I think that was Nick who died out of cut there. So 2-3, pretty good position to hold here, especially since we both have reds. Ricky's going to try to make a play here. Nothing quite yet. We're trying to avoid this fire. They do end up getting hit, though, so I was the only one who didn't get hit, so I'm just in first, basically. Yeah, so right away I want to make a play with this bomb, and I do. So Squids is behind me. I think I get him. Yeah, there is a Peach behind me, so I think I did get him, but I think Rog ended up dying as well. But I do have 10 coins in first. I do believe that's Jenny, not Orochi, in second, so I am going to have to try and play some defense here. That bomb was incredibly close. If that bomb hits, it was a completely different race. I think it was called, but I was just barely able to avoid it. In retrospect, I think I should have backed that green there to try and pull defense in pocket instead. The Ghost can be a bit of a threat on this track. And yeah, so pretty good timing. Yeah, that looked really weird, but we did end up having the shot. The original plan was to get me into set in first, but because they were in a star at the time, we just opted to, well, I was the one who called the shot, just get myself on glider. That's kind of why I didn't play for defense there to block that red. It wasn't really intentional to get hit there, but I could have avoided the time loss at the very least. And yeah, not much to say there. They do end up getting 2-3, but we get a lot of spots behind. So next track, Rosalina's Ice World. This is my track. Every time I'm in first when the enemy is second, I end up picking this. And I don't feel like this track gets talked about enough. Because look at this. So I'm in first trailing, so no one's able to really touch me. Look how many coins I have access to. I would be up to 5, but I ended up getting 4. See, there's a 5th one, and then you have 6, 7, 8, and then if you end up pulling a coin in first at the beginning, you would already be at 10 coming out of the water. And from there, you can just run it completely for free. These 3 coins here are all backup, so I end up collecting all of those. And listen, I feel like more people should be playing Rosalina's Ice World in general because of how good the track is for first. Plus, I feel like it's really fun to drive. I think this track has entered my top 5 favorites for sure. Not that I have like a super public tier list or anything. Let me know if you want to make. Let me know if you want me to make a personal track tier list. I might do that. So blue ends up being in play here. My teammates are in 2 and 3 as well, so this blue is pretty free for me to take with no real consequence. I'm still in first by the end. I end up going around cut there. That shortcut can be taken shroomless to save a little bit of time, but it's completely risky on laps 2 and 3 because of items, because of shock. If shock comes there, you basically just fall off and die if you get shocked in the wrong spot. But yeah, at the moment, pretty smooth sailing for me. None of the enemy team has really touched me. It's just a matter of keeping my spot here. And yeah, so unfortunately my teammate in second, I think that's Matthijs, he ends up dying online and gets 4th instead of 2nd. But I think we still end up winning the race, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, I believe that was just like a +2 race or something like that. Very small win. So this track, Big Blue, this is one of Soul's go-to picks for, you know, middle, bottom spots, stuff like that. I almost ended up getting bumped off there at the beginning. That would have been terrible. Although not the end of the world necessarily. So because I'm in first, I opt to just try and keep it as best I can here, and yeah, having a high coin count at the beginning certainly helps. Very easy to build up coins on the main parts of the track. They end up shrooming up here. I could have maybe trailed earlier, but I do end up getting one of them off, thankfully, so that's good. I end up trailing because Shiba, if I'm saying that right, is behind me. I make a misplay here and try to hit him in midair instead of just get ahead of him, because now I'm the one that has to get him, and, you know, I go for the snipe because, again, trying to play aggressive, and it ends up costing me a trade. So top 4 on Big Blue, not really a good position to be in. I'm just trying to hold them off as best I can with this fire, but they end up planting me instead, which is really unfortunate. Team is still in top 3, so really my game plan is just pull good items and catch up as best as possible. 9 coins, good item. Good items to have here, just Shroom Chain, just trying to catch up. I feel like this red should have hit Reese here, but the banana that was on the floor ruined that for me. He does have a red in front of me, so I still try to Shroom up as fast as I can. And yeah, I get hit by fire on the line, but it doesn't really matter all that much. Top 3, 5, 8, and suddenly we're back in the lead by 10 rather than being down 10. On a track like Big Blue, where we never pick it and the enemy team's really good at it, that is an incredible result. And we were really happy going into the next race, which, again, Soul ends up picking a Cape as well. Bit of chaos near the beginning, so I believe Matisse it was who pulled triple bananas, ends up just tossing them and hits Orochi on the head. Yeah, really precarious situation to get triples there. There's just nowhere to go because the ceiling just brings them all back down to earth. This triple green interaction scared me. I wasn't sure if I was going to get hit by someone else, like getting hit into me, but it ends up working out because Ricky wins the 1v1 there. So Soul ends up in top 3 here, so already we're kind of suffering. I do red Parishi here, but I do make some poor decisions with this boomerang. Like, they're just... they're super out of my range. I could have maybe thrown that bomb a bit earlier, but it doesn't end up connecting. Just ends up exploding off to the side, so... Yeah, so Ricky ends up trimming up. Thankfully, we do pull a blue, and I get a red off onto second. I think they end up dodging this, but now look at the position I'm in. I'm in third with fire, so I can make a play, definitely. I could have done it here, actually. I was kind of worried about doing it because he was in position to back me. I think he just lags out of my fire here. Jinny dies to something, I'm not sure, but her teammate ends up actually getting me instead. Super terrible interaction. Suddenly they're just back up in the front. That's an exchange that I could have won. Shock is coming here, so my driving was a little bit weird. That was our shock. We ended up dodging a lot in the back to try and catch up. I forget the exact result of this race, so we're gonna find out in a little bit. But the pack is incredibly tight. Rog ends up dying. I think that's my teammate who ghost horns their Peach. I have a boomerang here. I get one off trying to hit Oxytocin, but I miss, expecting him to go right. And yeah, just shrooming up. I end up passing him here, so I get 6th. And yeah, that race ends up working out 2, 4, 5, 6, 8, and that is, in fact, a win, I believe? Yeah, by 2. Super close war up to this point, but we gotta keep going here. So Cheap Cheap Beach is actually a track that we ended up adding to our track pool recently. We experimented with it a while ago, and we found out, like, hey, we're actually pretty good at this one. So we end up picking this for pretty much drafting spots. The idea is you can maybe pull Shroom for set. If not, you can just kind of draft up and get into the front. Bit of a weird situation for me. I just end up getting backed in 11th there, so I have to end up going for the shock pretty much. You'll notice a Bowser Jr. on the minimap. Yeah, Ricky ends up DCing before the race and couldn't get back in the room, so there is a bot for this race. So yeah, 5v6 on a really crucial race to the war, not what you want to see, I'll say that much. So everyone's stopping. I can't really do that. I'm not in a position to because of this bullet. So I just end up running it up and hoping that, I think that's Rog back there, can pull the shock. You know, there's really no good place to use this bill. If you use it at cut, it takes you past the boxes. If you use it before, it takes you all the way around. It's a pretty bad combination. So I just end up holding it. Yeah, so we end up pulling it. Anyway, you know, Bowser Jr. in the back taking up a spot for them to potentially pull shock. I end up calling that myself because no one was in dodges, and I just wanted to kind of get up there. I super completely misplay that interaction, but you'll see I end up making up for it quite heavily. So that ghost there could have pretty much ended my race, but he lost the 1 in 6. I star into them and kill 2, and then Shiva gets hit by something else. So going from like 3rd to like 7th, pulling a star, getting back up to 3rd was incredibly clutch. And I was warning Matthijs, like, yo, watch out, the ghost has a red, please be careful. He gets redded over the line, so he ends up getting 3rd still. Really, really close call there, but it ends up working out just fine. So we were feeling okay about that race. You know, pulling a few shocks against this team is pretty helpful, all things considered. Again, they are very good at those back of the race interactions, you know, bottom 4. But now the initiative is in our court because Daisy Cruiser is one of our best tracks. Unfortunately, some of us do get hit out early on, and they do occupy first. And yeah, all of us get hit, so now we're in only 3rd. But I end up getting 2 of them out here. Again, aggressive play really does work when the stakes are high. You really gotta act first in situations like that where you need good spots. I tried a 3rd shot run reset at first here because I'm greedy, but it doesn't end up connecting. Yeah, that back by Reese was insane. Thankfully, Orochi's here to back me up, and the blue gets thrown, but that, if we didn't have blue there, that could have basically ended our chance of getting first, but no, it ends up working out, because we pull blue, and Orochi ends up getting into first here, and ends up redding Reese after, so just, you know, 5-second breakaway completely negated. So now we're in top 2, and our job is to just hold it. I was thinking about backing, but Ricky ends up taking... Oh, look at this. Ginny lags all the way up, and I think I hit her out. I'm not entirely sure. It's really hard to say. I was kind of hearing her teddy buggy just off to my right, and I didn't know where it was. Yeah, Orochi hits table here, and then... Yeah, Ricky ends up trailing out Rog here, but you'll see. You'll see what happens. So, top 3. That was our shock. I called that because we were in 2 dodges and they were in nothing. And Ricky gets random green online, so instead of top 5, we get top 4, 8. Or top 4, 7, excuse me. And that's why I ended up titling this Ricky Found Dead on Daisy's Boat, because that was a hilarious green. I wish I had the call recorded, but I completely messed up my recording settings. God, I wish I had recorded. It was so funny. Like, Green came into our chat after that and was like, yo, Ricky found dead on Daisy's cruiser, and it was like, oh my god. Anyway, next race here, Daisy Circuit, Daisy Circuit. This was Soul's pick for their bottom spots, but we are pretty good on this one, so... unfortunately, the early part of the race didn't really work out, because now I found myself in the back having to go for it. At this point, I was kind of upset. Like, I was doing really well up in the front, and now I have to, like, you know, stay back here and bag on a track where I would really rather be up there. Yeah, everyone ends up stopping here, and Shiva just friggin' stars me, and yeah, I'm just cooked. Thankfully, I still have high coin count, so it could be worse. Now, I'm not entirely sure if Shock gets pulled here. I definitely don't pull it. Oh, yeah, okay. Rog ends up pulling Shock in the back after I start building up here. Nick's holding a dodge. Or no, maybe it gets pulled like right here, yeah. It gets pulled right here, and I was like, yeah, I have to waste my golden. I spot them with it here, and then I just randomly call it. Like, I didn't want them using it. I did dodge Shiva, but I at least shocked them out of their shock there. They weren't in a dodge. Really good that I spotted that in time. So I had to wait to throw this blue, because it was really close up in the front, but I finally get the Q to throw blue, and unfortunately I kill Ricky and get neither of Shiva nor Jenny in front of me, which was just like, why? But triple shrooms at the end. I could have maybe made a play with this red, but that red warning there kind of ruined my plans. But it doesn't really matter because look, top 4-8. Like, another huge race, and we are up by a ton at this point. Yeah, up 68. So, Twisted Mansion, again, we sort of picked this one now as well, but this was Soul's pick as well because they were in better spots for it. I tried to trail somebody out there because they were all behind me, but to no avail. My green gets taken away from me. Now, as a Scooty main, I am on Biddy here, but as a Scooty main, I kind of hate this track because when you're doing the UMT glider strat, you actually miss the box, but Teddy and Biddy Buggy do hit it. Now, I didn't play Biddy Buggy because we planned on going Twisted Mansion at some point, but when using the scooter, you have to keep in mind, if you do the UMT glider strat, you miss the set, and that kind of annoyed me. I wish that bomb connected. I forget if this red ends up hitting... Oh, no, it does, yeah. So my teammate's in first, ends up giving him a pretty sizable lead, and he has a bomb, so now we're just top 2, and I've got all of the initiative. But unfortunately, they end up pulling Shock, so now we have to try and play salvage mode here. Yeah, Shock blue. I was like... I didn't say it out loud, but in my mind I was like, oh my god, they did it. They finally did it. Yeah, the item interactions don't work out for me. Like, that bomb basically ruins it. I do fire Reese here, but Oxytocin ends up... He ends up getting hit, but I think he ends up using his star to catch up. So I still have high coin count here, and I just need to stay with it. 4 shrooms. I know that there's a bullet behind me, so I have to really accelerate here to get away from it. And I don't know where this red came from. Like, I swear it was not there. Like, the bill was behind me, and, like, it was really weird. Yeah, it's just a complete cluster. It looks like Soul has, like, most of the top spots, and I think this ends up being a really good race for them. Yeah, just desperately trying to shroom up the line, you know how it is. One of us dies, Orochi beats a couple of people, but that's not really enough. Yeah, they end up getting top 4, so that undoes our previous race, the Daisy Circuit race. But we have 2 more to go, and all we have to do here is, you can see we're up by 40. All we have to do here is just win the race, and that's about it. So we end up going one of our best tracks, Waluigi Stadium, GCN Waluigi Stadium. Super good track for bottom spots, because coins are a rarity on this track, so starting with a lot of them is really good. You pull a shroom to take the cut and pass a lot of people, and if you're smart with your items, you can space them pretty well and get into top spots. Really, after the first shortcut, this is a pretty hard runner. The only good shortcut comes halfway through, and it doesn't save that much time because you can end up just doing it shroomless anyway. But we are in fact cooking here, top 2. I am just going to back the screen and go for the cut. Orochi ended up pulling multiple bombs in first tier. I get greened out, so Orochi should be able to make a play with this bomb here, and not sure when he decides to do it. I think right here? Yeah, it ends up whiffing, unfortunately, so they're still second, but we are in 1-3-4, and really all we have to play for is top 3, and we end up winning. We are in 1-3-4, and Matthijs ends up hitting himself, which is really annoying. But they are in second, and we have to take that guy out. Our bottom slots are definitely not doing so well, so it's all up to us here. Orochi gets hit in the cut, but I think it still works out because he's able to horn Shiba out of there. And at this point, we're top 2-4, and all we have to do is take him out of third. I'm not really in a good position to do that. I could have slowed down here and readied him, but it ends up not mattering, as you can see. Shiba is there, but Matthijs ends up taking him out with another item, so there you go. That's top 3, and that is the win. Super awesome job. I was so nervous coming into this match, you have no idea. My history with warring this team is very, you know, pretty shaky in terms of, like, enjoyment. But I end up doing really well in this match, all things considered. I end up MVPing. I'm, like, super far ahead of everyone else. I'm on over 100 at this point. So I would say I did incredibly well for myself. But yeah, last track Trainbow, this doesn't really matter all that much. It's just, you know, can you survive? And yeah, I don't like this track. Super annoying. Thankfully, this race doesn't matter. You know, this track is completely awful in any other context other than 6v6, where, you know, if you pick it for, like, bottom 4, bottom 5, bottom 6, you basically win the race for free, so long as you don't make any crucial mistakes. And, like, the items that fly around in this section of the track are completely, like, stupid. I pull a plant here, but it's just a bunch of projectiles, and I'm bringing a piranha plant to a knife. It's like bringing a knife to a gunfight with all this fire and boomerangs, and I barely don't get hit here. Rog ends up getting hit. I'm just trying to, like, get up there. This bomb, I unfortunately whiff. It doesn't connect. And then they connect a bomb on me, and I pull another one myself, but there's no point in using this. But yeah, this race didn't really matter much. That is game. So, GG's to Soul. Really put up a fight. Pretty enjoyable match, all things considered, you know? And, yeah, so currently, after this match, we are 4 wins, 1 tie. Sorry, this is our 5th match. 4 wins, 1 tie. And you're going to see how the next match goes tomorrow. So, thank you all for watching, and yeah, I'll catch you next time.